Ohm Youngmisuk here with Dave McMenamin after yet another interesting, intriguing, exciting at times, ugly at times Laker-Clipper
Very
matchup.
ugly.
The Lakers needed this one.
Badly.
3-10 since the in-season tournament championship coming into tonight. 4-game losing streak. Hadn't won in 2024 yet. They barely got it out with Norm Powell's buzzer beater rimming in and out. There's a lot of stuff we got to talk about with the Lakers. I want to start, though, your reporting and impression of what happened with Kawhi Leonard down the stretch in this game.
Yeah, so Kawhi came out with 2:47 left to go, and pretty much I think it was like a 3-point game, and very rare to see. And he did not come back in until 17 seconds left, and a pretty much I think 1-point game at that point. And so I was like, what's going on? Kawhi did struggle. This is his first probably bad shooting game since late November, I think, which is that's how good he's been.
Right.
Almost like 6 weeks. But Ty explained afterwards that it was a minutes restriction thing. He was at pretty much 35 minutes. They are playing the first of a back-to-back. They play Phoenix on Monday. So Ty had to bring him in early in the fourth quarter because that game was starting to get out of hand. Lakers went up at 10, I believe. So they brought Kawhi back in to try to get them back in, and then he used too many of Kawhi's fourth quarter minutes. weren't able to get him back in until late.
So even though the Lakers, did build that 10-point lead you mentioned in the fourth quarter, they tried to give this thing away several times down the stretch. A bad foul on Taurean Prince on Norm Powell with 2 minutes and change left that gave Norm Powell the chance to tie the game at the free throw line. But give the Lakers some credit. Certainly, I think the impact of a guy like Christian Wood had 9 points, 10 rebounds, 2 block shots, really gave them some momentum in the third quarter at a time when LeBron and AD, who both had strong games, but not necessarily in the third. And then also down the stretch, Taurean Prince, after that foul, he makes a 3 to put the Lakers up 3 with 1:17 to go. He makes 2 free throws. With like 13 seconds left to go. And there was various contributors. Austin Reeves made 1 late free throw. Anthony Davis made several pick-and-pop jumpers in the fourth. And LeBron had one of those LeBron moments where he drives on the left side. Ivica Zubac kind of crowds him, and LeBron almost gets the ball stuck on his hip, but somehow wills it up and into the basket. And the Lakers get a chance to win. But there was something I don't know if you heard this yet or even had a chance to digest it with the Clippers side of things, but there was a reporter who asked LeBron after the game, what's your view of the James Harden Clippers? And LeBron said, whoa, wait, that's not the James Harden Clippers. It's the T. Lue Clippers.
Yeah.
And considering all the stuff that's been floating around about the Lakers coach Darvin Ham and where things stand in terms of his job security with the Lakers these days, it's pretty interesting to hear LeBron kind of go out of his way to endorse his former coach from the Cavs.
Well, a couple things. I think maybe LeBron might have misunderstood. The point is that this is the first time he's faced the Clippers with Harden. Last time they played the Clippers, Harden was on the bench. He didn't play. It was right after the trade. PJ Tucker played. So this was the first time he played the Clippers with James Harden. But yes, anytime he is complimenting another coach, which he tends to do from time to time, LeBron is as good as there is basketball IQ, so he enjoys and I think respects basketball IQ from other coaches. It never hurts to read into things like that. And I mean, I think with LeBron, a lot of times there's always sometimes a hidden message within his message. So I thought pregame was interesting with Darvin Ham being asked, do you feel, by Bill Plaschke, do you feel like you are coaching for your job, and is that fair? And he said, no, I understand I work for a storied franchise, and the pressure comes with that job, but no, I don't feel like I'm coaching for my job, basically. Trying to win games. He thinks that, I think he just wants the microscope to kind of stop game by game, and Ty Lue defended him before the game, basically saying, it's not fair to judge him game by game. Look what he did last year. I think he showed how good of a coach he is with what he did last year. So Ty Lue defended him. And I think this game here takes a lot of heat off them, even if it's only temporary, even if it's only 24 hours. To get LeBron James in a better mood than what we saw the other night when he was asked about Ricky Rubio, I think that means a huge deal in Lakerland.
Yeah, and listen, they've had some challenges since the in-season tournament. The schedule's been unforgiving, a ton of road games. They played 3 road back-to-backs to close out 2023. They went 1-5 in those games. And you talk about, even tonight, you got D'Angelo Russell back for the first time in 4 games. He missed 3 straight, and then the end of a fourth in Minnesota because of a bruised tailbone. You still don't have Rui Hachimura in the lineup. You still don't have Gabe Vincent in the lineup. Like, those are pieces that they were intending to rely on. But I do think one thing you have seen over this, not just in the win against the Clippers, but over the last stretch here, Darvin Ham's gone back to Christian Wood, who had a big role early in the season. And as I mentioned, he was really good tonight, and it's really been 2 or 3 games now that he's had an impact. And Max Christie is also getting consistent minutes. Perhaps that will be the mix. Now, of course, once Rui Hachimura's left calf is healed, that's another ingredient thrown into the mix, and Darvin Ham will have to juggle that. But right now, at least it seems like these roles are settled into. This starting lineup, it appears like they're going to go forward with. And it was interesting to see the closing lineup where Jared Vanderbilt was, again, trusted to be in that role. He hadn't been right most of the season because of a left heel bursitis issue he was dealing with from the start of training camp, really. Maybe this can continue because they do have some more road games coming up. Home games coming up.
Defensively, the Lakers tonight, I think, look the way they need to look. Long, disruptive, making things uncomfortable for the Clippers. Clippers took a lot of uncharacteristic shots tonight. Kawhi credited the Lakers defense, basically saying, like, they were able to kind of get me out of my spots. I have a theory. So one thing that I thought as the Lakers were making their run to the in-season tournament, Dave, was I said, I can tell, LeBron wants this badly. He wanted to win the in-season tournament because it would be part of his legacy. Another thing they could say he won, first guy to win it. But I thought he was expending almost playoff-level energy at the end of November and whatever it was, right? So I thought it was way too early of how good he was. And, of course, the rest of the team followed him and played well. But then I thought, how much of the tank did he empty here? Mm-hmm. He's going to have to recover, and it's too much. And so I thought in the following games after the in-season tournament, Anthony Davis would have to basically take over that role and control games, take over games, and everybody else would follow him. And as good as Anthony Davis has been at times, just hasn't had that same impact away when LeBron takes over that the rest of the team doesn't. And LeBron just can't keep that up the entire season, nor can he do it this early. He has to save a lot of that for the playoffs. Tonight, I think what you saw, I love LeBron taking on Kawhi Leonard. Number one, I thought he took the defensive assignment,
yes, he did.
And he bothered Kawhi. Okay, I think he was just physical with him, and he did it early in the game as opposed to late. LeBron had an all-around game, 25, 8, and 7, but didn't have to do it for the entire 40 minutes, right? Like AD now, with 8 minutes to go, I turned to Andrew Gray from the LA Times next to me, and I said, if I were to tell you with 8 minutes to go in the game that Ivica Zubac would outplay Anthony Davis, wouldn't you think the Clippers were up 10? But the Lakers were up 10 at that point. So AD still had a good game, a decent game, but didn't take over. But the rest of the guys, and AD said this tonight, the role players, this is what we saw last year. Even at Vando, for example, he's not scoring a lot, but defensively, that was a great game from him.
His activity level is up, yeah.
Right.
And AD used the term "the others." You win a championship based on the contributions of the others. Basically, him saying, "I'm going to assume that myself and LeBron James are going to show up every night." And listen, that was the formula that they built this team with, right? And they won something with it, the in-season tournament. And the hope was they could continue to win the big prize with this group. Now, over the last month or so, it's caused everyone involved with the Lakers organization to question things. And maybe this wasn't the right formula, especially if all these role players can't stay healthy. That's why we heard so much about the potential trades out there. Could they go after DeJounte Murray? Could they go after Zach LaVine? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You've read, you've listened. You've watched all of these things being discussed on shows and articles at ESPN.
And that heat is only going to get ramped up at the end of January, early February, when, guess what? Both teams are on their Grammy trip.
That's right.
Right?
And post January 15th, I think they play again, right? And
Yeah.
January 15th, some of these contracts on both teams can be traded. So we'll do this again. We'll see. I can't believe we've covered 2 straight Laker wins over the Clippers. We covered 12 Clipper wins in a row before
I don't know
that.
what's happened. Things have switched around, but I will say this. Interestingly, of us two, this guy is the guy who picked the Clippers
I did.
to go all the way, right? Or to the finals.
To the finals.
To lose to Milwaukee?
I think I picked Boston.
Boston?
I picked
Boston, the Clippers?
Yeah.
So, and, people didn't think that pick looked great early on, and you kept saying, yeah, just give it time.
Yeah.
And Clippers have looked very good until tonight, but I think tonight actually is a learning moment for them and Ty Lue that, hey, they had won 5 straight, 14 of 16. Lakers made things tough for them, and I think this was a moment where they can try to figure out when teams do this to us or we face a long team like this and they kind of take James Harden out of it a little bit and Kawhi, what do we do?
Perhaps P.J. Tucker could have a role in the next Laker Clipper game. If you need
Yeah.
to muck things up a little bit, right?
I'd love to see P.J. Tucker. He has fallen out of the rotation. And look, Mason Plumlee is waiting in the wings
That's true.
behind Tice, so he eventually will get a chance. And, unfortunately for P.J. Tucker, he's just going to have to stay ready.
Yeah, well, we will stay ready as well. Ohm has a back-to-back Lakers Suns. Clippers Suns.
Clippers Suns.
Lakers will get the Suns later on in the week. They got the Raptors first, and we'll see how the Pacific Division and the battle for LA continues to shake out. For Ohm, I'm Dave. Treat the game well, and it'll treat you well. Take care.